Hey everyone, how's it going? I hope you're doing well today. I'm doing well. This tutorial video will be basic scramble procedures and how to perform a cartridge start in the F-4E Phantom. Cartridge starts are most often performed either when no ground electrical power and air were available, or when aircraft and crews were sitting Zulu alert, which was the readiness state requiring aircrews to be able to start the aircraft and be airborne within 5 minutes of hearing the alarm to scramble. When cartridge starting the Phantom, an explosive propellant charge is used to turn the starter turbine, which cranks the engine to initiate the engine startup. Using these starter cartridges creates noxious fumes, so it's advisable to use 100% oxygen for startup and maybe close the canopies, though to my knowledge, canopies were still typically left open during startup. Obviously in DCS, you don't need to select 100% oxygen because obviously you can't breathe, but I like, for the sake of realism and immersion, I like to do 100% oxygen. So before we get started, I want to show you something in the mission editor which will be important once we're in the jet and starting up. With our aircraft selected in the mission editor, we want to select the tab with the 3 horizontal dots labeled Aircraft Additional Properties. In this tab, we want to check the box next to INS Reference Alignment Stored. This will enable us, or rather Jester, to conduct a stored heading alignment, which is much faster, so we'll be able to get into the air and navigate to the aircraft we're intercepting quicker. The first thing to do here in the cockpit is to put our helmet on, and then turn our oxygen supply on and make sure that we have 100% oxygen selected. One thing to note is that we don't need to talk to and get clearance from ATC to start up taxi or takeoff because we already have clearance to scramble. Next thing we want to do with the Jester UI Action menu button is to open the Jester UI menu with this keybind here. We'll open that. You can look over to the left here, or you can use your mouse and click hand signals, air source, load start cartridges. Next, we want to turn our right engine master switch on and our right generator on. And then we're going to press and hold the right engine ignition and move our throttle half, then back to idle, and then engine start switch right with a right click, which is this switch here. So again, we're going to need right engine ignition, and we'll also need left engine ignition, of course. And we're going to need right engine idle detent and left engine idle detent. So we'll start here with the right engine. Press and hold the right engine ignition button. Right throttle half, then idle. And then right click to start the engine. And then we're going to watch our RPM. And we're going to wait for our EGT to start moving. So we're going to hold the engine ignition until that starts to go up, which it has. We can release that. Release the ignition, I should say. And then we'll repeat this for our left engine as the right is spooling up, because remember, we want to be getting airborne as fast as possible. So our left engine master switch on, left generator, left engine ignition, left throttle half then idle, left engine start switch. You can hear that one fire. Watch our RPM while we're holding the ignition. Wait for the EGT to go up for the left engine. There it is. We can release our ignition. And now we can cycle our right generator off, then back on. And we'll tell Jester that we're ready for alignment. And he'll ask us what kind of alignment we want.
What alignment do you want?
And we want heading memory.
Stored heading. Alrighty then.
Now we'll wait for our left engine to spool up and stabilize. Alright, now we can turn on all of our remaining switches. So we want all 3 of our stability augmentation switches on. We want our external tank speed set as desired. So for our case, we want to have it set to outboard because we have wing tanks, wing drop tanks. Our CADC static pressure compensator correction switch, we want to right click up to reset for a second. Turn our anti-skid on, then turn our oxygen mixture back to normal. Can set our radar altimeter as desired. We'll set it to 500 feet here. We'll test that with the left click. We'll reset our altimeter, left click and hold. We can uncage our standby ADI. We can set our TACAN to transmit receive. Set it the code as needed, or the channel rather, as needed. Turn our radio on to transmit receive and guard, and again set the frequency as needed or the preset channel as needed. Turn our IFF master to normal. set our interior and exterior lights as desired. Turn all of these on. Select the DSCG screen mode to radar. Select the HUD mode to stand by or cage. I like to do cage. Flaps and slats out and down. You can hear our crew chief tell us that. And then we want to go trim 1 to 3 units nose down, so leave it about there. And now we're just going to wait for Jester to finish up that alignment, which doesn't take too long because it's a stored heading alignment, so we'll wait for that.
Alignment completed. You can go primary sync now.
Alright, so our alignment's done. We can set our select reference system down to primary. And now we're going to tell our crew chief to remove the wheel chocks.
Yes, sir. Chalks out.
Alright, now we can taxi.
You're all set, sir. Have a safe flight. Disconnected. Time to go fly. Hell yeah.
So we're going to want to taxi it probably pretty quick here. Close our canopy.
Canopy down and locked. Lights out and stripes aligned. Roger.
And we're just going to immediately roll on our takeoff. Go full burning.
Good. Airspeed's coming alive.
Release nose wheel steering at 80 knots. Pull back on the stick.
There's 100. At least the takeoffs wake me up. Oh, man.
Rotate. Pitch up to 10 degrees. Gear coming up once we're airborne. And flaps. And there we have it. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you found this video helpful and informative. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or constructive feedback, please feel free to leave a comment. Anyways, have a good one, and I hope I'll see you in the next video.